3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Good evening, everybody, and good evening, Wayne. Welcome along. This is the press conference review, 7 p.m. on a Friday. I don't know if we're going to be able to hear what the press conference says. They do need to sort the sound out at Seagrave, but we'll try anyway. Hopefully, Wayne's very, very good at lip reading. We will find out soon. But welcome along. If you are watching live, thank you very much. And thank you very much there to Andreas. Welcome along, mate. And, as you can see there, and Blue Fox, comment and it will pop up as if by magic on the screen. And also, don't forget, as well as commenting, you can like, share the video and subscribe. Please do like. It really does help the channel. And it's free of charge. We all like a freebie, don't we? Just ask Kerry Katona. But come along, and if you're watching on Catch Up as well, do exactly the same. And if you're listening via your podcast platform of choice, muchas gracias, penis. Thanks, cock. Wayne, come along. How are you doing, sir?
I thought you called me a cock then, Chris. I thought steady on a little bit.
Exactly.
I'm all right, mate. Well, we're back. Going back once more into the breach, aren't we?
We are. First of all, look, before we get any further, I have to say to not just Sheffield Wednesday fans, but to football fans everywhere, there but for the grace of God go a lot of clubs. And we know there but for the grace of God, well, not there but for the grace of God, we went there as well a couple of times. We wish them all the best. It does at least mean that Chancery has gone, apparently. But unfortunately, they're now sat on minus 6 points, and that is going to be really, really hard to get back, isn't it?
Do you know what, Chris? I've literally finished work, popped to give blood, saw some family, got back home. I don't know what's happened with Chef Wednesday.
They've been put into administration.
Yeah.
It was in advance of the Inland Revenue. I think they're owed £1 million in tax, which means that you and me and everybody else is owed £1 million in tax. That's the way it works. But but it also means I think that Chancery has gone.
Good.
I didn't realise he'd actually been there. 2015 he bought the club.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was a recent acquisition, but 2015, when they lost out in the playoff final to Hull City, we remember stuffing us on the opening day, our first home game as proper as champions. And yeah, it's a shock. So it isn't just a bad an owner who's bought it recently. He's been there a while and therefore pumped a fair bit of money in.
Yeah, obviously, not obviously. It just seems that maybe he sort of, because they nearly got promoted, didn't they? They nearly made it.
Yeah.
And maybe he thought, like per the discussion last night about Newcastle, once you start losing, there aren't many football clubs that make money, is there?
That's the thing. There isn't. You do need owners with big pockets. And thanks, Blue Fox. When you look at, and I know I keep referring back to it as if it's a documentary, but The Damned United, the film, and the guy there, you had the local guy who owned a local butcher shop or something. We've been there, we're putting money into the club. In a way, I mean, I know it was different times, but they weren't bad times, were they?
No, they weren't. It's like Colville Town. The guy eventually had to walk away from Colville Town, didn't he?
Did he?
I've known them, and he poured a load of money into Colville Town. He loved that club with a passion, but he said he's just unsustainable. You've got to spend serious money even in that level of football.
Yes.
And it's like a bucket with a massive hole in it. You're never going to plug the hole, is it? So it's sometimes painful times. You think it's like a forest fire. You think it's the end, but sometimes it can be a good start.
The thing that really gets me is, and again, the thing you've got to say is, what were the EFL doing? How did he pass the right and proper test? But then we've got to go back and say, look, 10 years ago, it was probably a different story. The world has changed a lot in 10 years. COVID's come along, and we know how that's affected our owners. So I just think that they deduct. What do they do? Because if they find that they're not going to get the money, they could afford to pay a fine. They would have, paid wages and what have you. So deducting points is the only way. But what does that do to Chansiri now? Is he bothered? I suppose the only thing is he's lost the club without getting any money for it.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Just that level of sort of justice, or I don't know, consequences, if you want to call it. It's dated. It doesn't need to be like that. As you said before, Chris, with the travel trade, if an airline goes bust, it's all covered. I'm sorry, it's like the Premier League not running. What's the video replay? What's it called?
United.
VAR. It's like running VAR.
Oh, sorry. You mean
they're too
How could you forget?
Obviously, they're too proud to go to the rugby union, who've done it for donkey's years, very successfully, with no fallouts or no dysfunction. Yet they decide to do it their way, and it's a cock up. Yes. It's the same with this. There are other businesses, as you said, that have a completely different system of sorting it out, and it works. And this system, it really does penalise and punish. What's the point? It is literally sticking the boot in, isn't it?
110%. 110%.
It's not helping the community. If it's particularly a community club, it's just really damaging to the community, isn't it?
It is. Well, any club, and look, I can usually I worked in Bury for a long, a couple of years, I think it was, but I know what that club meant to the locals, and it says here that this does effectively end the reign of the deeply unpopular owner Chansiri, with administrators Begbie's trainer now tasked with finding new owners. So they got into administration, therefore they got to find new owners. But I remember years ago that if players weren't paid, that the PFA would step in. Now, that was when they were being paid maybe a couple of hundred quid a week. They might have been able to afford. But then these clubs, these players aren't on Ronaldo's money.
No, they're not. No. It is gutting, Chris, because it's such a historical club. Was it avoidable? Maybe it's the only way to get him out, basically.
Yes. I mean, you have got that to consider. But
because it is a complete break now, isn't it? It's gone, and that's the end of that era.
It has, things can hopefully move on now. And sometimes you have to, as we know, you have to take a step back to take a step forward. But all I would say is to everybody, just be careful what you wish for, because we've been saying this about top and how he's running the club. Is he looking to run it into a sales position? Who knows? But just be careful. We've got to be careful as to sort of who comes in. But right.
When you said sometimes you've got to take a step back, take a step forward, Chris. I just need to clarify. You're not on about this season dropping down to the Championship before our automatic promotion at the end of this season, are you?
I don't think that's going to happen. I wish it could. It did last time, but I don't think it's going to. Look, talking about getting back to the Premier League and the matches, 3:00 on Wednesday. No, it's not. 3:00 tomorrow. What am I doing? My head has been all over the place today. I think it's been up my backside, and that's not a very nice place to be at the moment, or any time, to be honest with you. As it says there, 3:00 tomorrow. Things I was saying with Kate earlier, bloody hell. But shall we have a look at the press conference, sir?
Go on, Chris. Why not?
Well, that's what I thought. It's what we're here for, so we might as well. Here we go.
Check with some of the team news at the moment. How is Steffi Mabadidi doing firstly?
Doing well. He has been training with the team, feeling much better. We're going to take a last decision tomorrow, but the progress has been very good.
And Bobby D put over Reed as well. I know you said he was struggling with a muscular injury against Portsmouth. Obviously missed the game on Tuesday. Will he be fit for the game this weekend?
He will not be fit. He's got a small hamstring issue. It shouldn't be long, but will not be ready for the game.
Do you have any other fresh injuries ahead of the game this weekend?
No.
How much are you still balancing, I suppose, the workload for some of your players at the moment, and how are you managing that as the head coach, as the manager? Jordan James obviously played a lot on international duty. We spoke about Aaron Ramsey the other night as well. How are you trying to balance that as things stand?
Yeah, the best I can, the best we can. Obviously, with the help of all the performance, the medical team. When you check the amount of injuries we had so far, I think shows that there is a good job behind the scenes. But obviously, when a result is good, no one thinks about it much. When a result is not that good, then everybody starts to question a lot of the decisions. It's part of my job. I'm very calm about that. What I wouldn't want is I will not risk at this stage of the season players that eventually could lose then 4, 6, whatever weeks, and then it will be even a bad decision, right? But definitely there is work behind the scenes.
I wanted to ask about the striker situation. Your strikers at the moment, it's been a bit of a topic for I suppose people outside of the club. How would you review their performances, Patson, Jordan and Julian, so far this season?
Yeah, I said that already a couple of times, that for me the most important is, first of all, that the team is creating the chances. Second, that the team is scoring goals. It's only, I think, four teams in the division that has scored more goals than us. Not that I feel happy about it. I would like to be the first one on that table as well. But it shows that what is important is to score goals, not who does. Then obviously I understand the fans, or I understand everyone, even themselves as strikers, they want to score the goals. I see how they train. I'm here every day, and they are doing well. They are training well. They are pushing, and yeah, obviously we want them to score. We want more from them in all the areas of the game, but that can apply to the whole team as well in all the areas. We should be better at conceding less goals. We should be better at everything that we do, right? That's the ultimate target. What I will be more concerned is we're not creating goal chances.
In terms of the strikers specifically, I think it's 29 appearances between them so far this season, just one goal. How is that concerning? And I suppose you mentioned it there about them individually as well. How frustrating is that for them?
Did you see 29 appearances?
I think between them cumulatively, if you
Okay, yeah. Yeah, again, as I said, I think that my job is try to get the best of all of them. I explained before the way I see them with their skills, with their strengths, how we can use them. And I think that we are getting into situations with them. Now, I'm sure that we don't need to explain much about the career, for instance, of Jordan Ayew, that has more than 100 caps. He's the captain of the national team of Ghana, has been now in the World Cup, classified to the World Cup, has a huge experience in the Premier League. It's true that he has not played always as a striker in his career. He can play in different positions, as he did in the last game. But again, I think that it will be too simple for me to analyze just the final outcome of the performances.
So when you, I suppose, analyse it from a deeper perspective, do you look at chance creation, or are you focusing in on positioning, finishing? Is it as simple as confidence when it comes, when players go through a stretch of not scoring goals? How do you analyse it? And I suppose, how do you fix it for them individually, but also for the team to get your strikers scoring more goals?
Yeah, definitely. In all positions, we ask them to do different jobs, and the role requires not only one thing, because it is a sport team and there is different moments during the game, and it's, as a striker, it's not just the fact that we want them to be in this last moment to score the goal, but as well how they can open a space for other players, how they can create chances for other players, how they can press, how they can help the team when we are in a low block, how they can help the team to counter. And for instance, the way we can counter with Jordan or with Julian or with Pato, it's different with all of them. So my job as a coach, there is a tactical part of it, where all the staff helps me in terms of training, in terms of individual drills and so on. Then there is the power of management, where you know always that a striker that has not a score for a while obviously will affect his confidence, because that's the way usually they leave the game. But we need to work with that. And then again, instead of just looking at the bad parts of these, I try to look as an opportunity to improve, as an opportunity to help them to become better, and how we can use them to be better as a team.
Millwall next up this weekend. What have you made to them in your analysis ahead of this game?
Millwall, yeah, definitely in a good trend, and yeah, if there is one game in this championship, there is one team that will always demand. In terms of the energy, in terms of the attitude, in terms of it's going to be Millwall away. So I think that it's a great challenge, a great opportunity for us after the disappointment of Tuesday to bounce back, and it's going to be a very difficult test, because they are in a good trend, because they are confident on the things that they do. But at the same time, I think it's very clear that if we want to win the 3 points, we need to match them on all the parts and make them very competitive.
Alex Neil has been playing a really effective style of football, and we've seen that so far this season. How do you counter what they will want to do on home soil while still being able to implement your game plan this weekend?
Yeah, I already said, I think that one part of it is about matching some of the parts that make them really strong, in terms of belief, in terms of hunger, in terms of this energy that they bring into every game. But then, especially, use our strengths. We will fail if we try to do what they do. So we need to make sure that we are dominant through our way of playing, that we improve some of the things that we know that as a team we're trying to get better at. And at the same time that, I think that we, in the second half, last day, obviously was a very different scenario. But we definitely have some things that we can pick from this second half and things to learn from the first half.
Listen up, Foxes fans. Don't miss out on live football this weekend, live on Sky Sports with Now TV. If you enjoy watching football, then you won't want to miss any of the action. And you can catch all the action live on Sky Sports with a Now membership. So don't miss a moment. You can stream Sky Sports on Now flexibly. Like this weekend, you could be watching Ipswich West Brom, Manchester United Bolton, and Dortmund versus Cologne, so even European football. Search nowtv.com for full details. This is going to annoy me again now, because I've lost the thing to put us in position. So before we carry on, well, while I try and find that, I should say, overall thoughts on what he had to say?
Just general, typical manager talk, isn't it? Really, is I definitely think his body language seemed defensive this time. And I think Owen did make him breathe. There was one of those moments when he mentioned the amount of games that the forwards have played, 29 games, and they've only scored 1 goal. He says, 29, really? He went, yes. He went,
yes. It is worrying. Nearly a year for Patson without a goal. And I'm having to put up an advert there, so I apologise. But look, let's talk injuries. I mean, Michael says there, did you hear what Marty just said? Oh, sorry, no, the injuries are lies, he says. I don't think any manager's going to come out particularly and just lie about injuries.
No, I mean, that Jurgen Klopp interview, which I've nearly finished now, he did say that sometimes he will, because he was directly asked by the interviewer, do you ever lie on behalf of the players? Right. So if, like, for instance, somebody's got a really bad attitude, or you've had something disciplinary within the club, do you? He says, he said, I've never directly lied to the press, but sometimes I will protect the players by carefully chosen words, basically. Yes. So little white lies, I'd say.
Is that the official? They
can't literally be completely honest, can they?
No. Because obviously, Millwall are watching as we are watching them. Steffi Mavididi is back on the grass, which I think he means he's back training, not smoking some illegal substance. But
he does play like he's been smoking grass anyway.
Sometimes, but I mean, I'd be glad to see him back. We had this conversation with Kate earlier, and if you haven't seen it yet, do have a chance of watch it. It got a little bit heated at times, if we put it politely.
I'll listen to that tomorrow, Chris.
Yes, do listen to that. She was having her say on the youth and people, like, what people are saying. But I think Monga still does play, and I know, look, it might hurt you, but he does still play better when he comes on as a sub.
He does. Interesting. He was asked about injuries, and one thing he did say is that we haven't had many injuries this season. The reason, I thought he was trying to say is, and that's because we are managing the minutes, and that is kind of in the context of the criticism that he's faced by not playing Ramsey and JJ for 90 minutes, isn't it? Because as fans can see, they are clearly two of the best players we've got.
Yes, yeah.
But when you say that, you think, well, that's fair enough. That is a fair point. He is trying to manage minutes of two people so they don't get injured, probably thinking, well, they are pivotal. We literally could not do without them.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, Malcolm, why shouldn't the club lie? They're not angels. I don't think lying does anybody any good. Like Wayne said, little white lies. I think, you have to say that.
Well, I mean, if your girlfriend or wife says, look, I'm thinking of wearing these trousers tonight, does my bum look big? that is the moral dilemma.
You say yes at the risk of losing your life.
Exactly. So that's where a little white lie is perfectly acceptable.
It does. He says, did you hear what Marty just said? My job as a coach, why are fans deaf and blind to it? He said he is a coach. But I don't think it matters. I mean, I always say manager because he's the guy in charge, I mean, it's only a title, Yeah. You could give somebody a title of saying, head of cleaning and utensils. Basically, this scrub the shit houses out. It's just all in the title, really, isn't it? And to me, whoever's in that charge, in that position, is a combination of both.
Yeah. And the thing is different managers want to get involved in transfers, and some don't. Some just want to do the coaching side of things. Some are more hands-on. He's under pressure, and it's going to be interesting to see. Well, team select. I mean, when the team selection gets released, Chris.
Well, I mean, he did take a little bit of responsibility, didn't he, for what he did?
He did, yeah, he did. And fair play, and he needed to, though, Chris. He needed to, because whether it's the system, the attitude of the players playing the system, and whether it does, if he's mentioned the word arrogant twice, does he probably think some players in our squad are arrogant? I'd say that's highly likely. And that's the problem that's the argument of why isn't he playing the younger players when he's playing older players that cost so much money who have been playing with a shit attitude.
I would tell you what we said, and as my Blue Fox says there, the Pick and Mix shows early with Kate was a great listen. Thank you very much, sir. We talked about youth quite a bit because obviously we're looking at her team selection, and she put up a very, very good argument about why we shouldn't necessarily be playing the youth, which we thought, I was saying, we might have to at the start of the season, and would it be such a bad thing? I'm not going to tell you what was said because I want you to go and watch the video. So do check YouTube, everybody. Leicester Till I Die TV, LTID TV, and it's on the top row under recent shows. And that is, like I say, the Pick and Mix with Kate. She picks them, I mix them up. Bobby Nicova-Reid's not fit, I have to say, thank God. I mean, all right, he had one good game, and I've got to say credit to him for that. He played really well in that game. The next game, he was back to Bobby Nicova-Reid, wasn't he?
Injured, older players.
You've got to manage the older players as well as the younger players, though, haven't you?
Well, you have. It's that argument of if you're not playing the younger players, they're not going up in value. And some of these younger players we might have to sell later on. But is he just playing some of the older players, putting them in the shop window for January? You don't, because a lot of those players, like is it Daka, Samare, and Winks, they're off in the summer anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, and there's a few more as well. But it is a good point because you have to manage the youngsters coming in and not throw them into the deep end. Some will thrive, it will ruin some of them. But you've also got to look at managing the older players. You know, can you remember the title-winning season when we didn't have one injury virtually all season?
Yeah, down to Dave Rennie, good old Dave Rennie.
Yeah, but Brendan cut that short. But yeah, I therefore don't, it has to be a combination of the both because, I understand Ricardo not playing on Tuesday. But then again, I was looking at Ramsey. Now, the very good point, and I will say this point, is that he's come back from a long injury. I know he was playing for Burnley before he came to us, but Burnley, as well, look, when Fatwu went to Ghana for the World Cup qualifiers, Marty says to the Ghanaian manager, look after him, don't run him into the ground. Burnley could have been saying that to us.
Yeah, and to be honest, he did only have 20-odd minutes before he got sent off before the last game he played. So he's a match winner, isn't he? He is a match winner. So I do get him not being made to play full 90 minutes because I think if Ramsey got injured, well, how badly did we do when Ramsey went out?
Yeah,
he completely became toothless up front. And since he's come back, I mean, I watched that goal again this morning. The way he finishes that goal, hits the side netting on the opposite side with hardly any time at all. So in that minute split of a second, the ball's there and he's hit it without thinking about it. And after his last scorpion kick, I do think he'll get double figures for us if he stays fit. Right.
Yes, yeah. But it is a case of, how many players do we loan out that get injured? Not all the opposition's fault, but look, you have to say maybe that was a clause in the well, look, because if he was fit, they wouldn't have let him go.
No.
So they don't get, but what they don't want is him running to the ground and then obviously has another injury. So just seeing what else he was saying here. So Steffi has missed 3 games with a hamstring, but he's been back on training and could feature at the Den. No announcement on that, as I didn't really expect there to be, but there will be obviously monitoring him. Jeremy Monga and Jordan Ayew has taken up the position on the left wing, but a fit Mavididi likely starts for City. Please don't play Jordan Ayew on the wing. He can't. He's not. I know he's officially. It's one of his positions, but he's got to either be a 9 or 10, hasn't he?
I don't think it can be. I don't think it can be a 9, Chris. No? I don't think he can stay in the box. And interesting, Cifuentes was dropping out the box anyway, so whether that's just the manager system or not, but no, not on the wing, Chris, not on the wing.
Hang on. He just said Cifuentes was dropping out the box. Did he put some boots on again?
Sorry, Carranza.
I'm going to say, I missed that as well on the watch along. Bloody hell, I need to concentrate more, don't I?
He might actually score, if he got on the pitch.
Well, exactly. He might do. But yeah, I mean, when I looked at the heat map for Carranza, it was all over the place, And what Ayew can't do is run up with the play. If he's up there, fine, but he's not got the speed, We
thought Carranza would he was brought to be an old-fashioned, more centre forward and stay in the box more. So we actually had, got better chances in the box, didn't we? But he's not getting played that way.
Having said that, as number 9s go, Ayew is our top scorer this season, I think, with 1.
It's crazy. In fact, did you in the press conference? He said the performances have been good, but with regards to the goals, only 4 teams in the Championship have scored more goals than we have.
Yes, and I was looking at that, and to be honest with you, like Coventry are on a different planet. They're not even on our solar system. But yeah, we are quite high up. It's just that the bar's not very high this season. But it says here, if Mavididi does come back to the squad, then it's likely to see, and I know which one of these will be dropping down, Silko Thomas or Victor Christensen will likely be the player who makes way. We all know who's going to make way, don't we?
Well, it isn't initials VK, is it?
No. And this was the other point I was making. I'm not saying throw these players in, right, and give them but if you start with Ramsey on Tuesday. He played 45 minutes, for fuck's sake. So why not play the first 45 and then we're not playing catch-up? And if that means sort of, for this, well, you don't want to bring Samari on, but you could bring Thomas on. You could bring those players on, the youngsters on, but they're not even featuring on the bench. Now, yes, he has got to get the balance right, but as Steve said, what are the youngsters doing? Signing the contract. Yeah, thank you very much. Through that door takes you straight back to the under-21s.
Yeah, I think a lot of parents, especially when Monga signed the deal. In fact, we wondered why Jake Evans was dragging his heels signing his contract. And although he has, I think a lot of parents with kids in the development squads, a lot of whom are getting in the England squad, by the way, aren't they? Very regularly and seen as key players. I think some parents will be quite surprised at how little chances of even getting in the squad some of these players. Because Silko Thomas, remember, was it the game where Louis Page scored 2 brilliant goals and then King afterwards said, he's a brilliant player, so intelligent. But Silko Thomas scored a beautiful goal, didn't he?
And the problem is that's not playing Millwall on a Saturday afternoon when there's 3 points up for grabs. That's in a pre-season friendly where the opposition are going to go in hard because they don't want to risk injury either. It says here, strikers, it's about the team creating chances. And look, I don't give a damn who's scoring the goals. Obviously, if you've got a number 9 there, you want that number 9 to be scoring. But if as a team, and that was the thing with Vardy, if he wasn't scoring, and at his peak, if he wasn't scoring, he was taking 2 defenders with him and leaving the space for somebody else to score. That's, I think, one of the things we're missing. Would you, with that in mind, bring Daka back because that's where he closes down and he's got the speed, or do you stick with Carranza?
I might even change to have top, Chris, to be honest. Because I don't think the 4-2-3-1 is working, particularly with the people he's got. And we are toothless up front. I mean, that is damning to get for the forwards to only have 1 goal all season. That
it is. You
can't ask your wingers and midfielders to score all your goals, do you? Or your defenders.
Well, no, if you look to play devil's advocate, if you go on the Leicester City website, Mavididi, Fatu, and Mongu all down as forwards. Not as strikers, but they are down as forwards.
Yeah.
Thank you for your politician's answer of changing the formation. But the question was, would you go back to Daka or stick with Turan?
No, I've had enough of people like Samari and Daka. I've had enough of it. I don't feel sorry for them. They paid a lot of money, and I was talking with one of my customers today, and basically they said their nephews or nieces finish better when they
do
go.
You get any work done, by the way? Because every time I was talking to my customers, do you actually get any work done at all?
If they are into football, we spend a lot of time talking because a lot of them go down to the King Power and are really interested in like what they think, the atmosphere, what the atmosphere is like this season. But like they say, I mean, 16-year-old grandson, he can finish better than them, and he plays for like a kind of local town team. And Daka is just you're settling for really, really poor. You're setting the bar so very low. I don't see how anybody, unless you're deluded, can expect Daka to even get 6 goals this season. I can't even see him hitting that sort of figure. So for 70,000, or even if he's on a reduced wage of 60,000 this season, I'm sorry, I don't want to see Daka playing for the club again.
I get what you're saying. How long do you give him? How long's a piece of string? When he'll finally go, yeah, I'm scoring not a 1 goal a season, as a regular basis. I mean, I would like to see Jake Evans up front, to be honest with you. He's doing all right for the youngsters. He can't do it. And this is what I was saying. These players can't do any worse. I mean, if we'd put Louis Page or Silko Thomas in, yes, last time they played, maybe they didn't have the best of games. But Samari's just shit. I mean, every game. So, yes, they may not last. Yes, they may have to get taken off. But they can't be any worse.
No, and over 3 years, Daka has demonstrated the level of his ability. As in being able to score goals, understand where he is in the box. I mean, all strikers have to have a sense of awareness where they are and where other players are. And you get a good player, when they're looking to get the ball past them, they'll look round, see who's near them. Daka does it, he's just not aware. Samari, the same. His ceiling has been reached, and it's a very low ceiling. And these other guys, the one thing I'll say about Louis Page is in his last game, he was out-muscled, really. So you got a lot of real good, very fit, very strong, dynamic championship players. But he will learn on the job. And I think the difficulty is, like Ben Nelson had 1 game against Huddersfield in the Cup where he didn't do very well. But is that enough to not even get him on the bench? That's what blows my mind.
Yeah, especially with all this talk about the youngsters, and he's had the youngest squad ever at QPR. Maybe when we look at that, he had the youngest squad at QPR because he hadn't got any decent older players. I don't know. But look,
the thing is, though, these younger players, they should improve. So in other words, they're at the lowest they are, and they just need experience. And in their experience, they will need to make mistakes. But you'll be getting a player by the end if they're starting to be regularly featured. Whether it's half an hour, last 20 minutes, or the odd start, their value will be going up, doubling or trebling just through the season. So, as a club in financial trouble, that makes financial sense.
Yeah.
To play the younger people because they go up in value.
Yeah. And if we get to the transfer window in January or even next summer when Marty can maybe spend a bit of money, is he going to be bringing players in when we've got youth players ready to go? So are we being fooled that the youth players are shitter than we think they probably are?
I think the early pre-season games, they were the opposition was lower standard until we got to the sort of the last 2 or 3.
Well, even Fiorentina in the bottom 3 in Italy.
Really?
Yeah.
Because we viewed that.
Cremosi, where Vardy's gone, they're like mid-table.
Yeah. In fact, I think Matt Piper said on one BBC episode that he thinks Fiorentina is the best 90 minutes we played. But so we viewed Fiorentina as like European regular club. What a great performance. But obviously, I didn't realise that, Chris, they were that low down.
Yeah. I've got to say, I'm a little bit disappointed as to where, for those of a certain age will remember this, where the Wonky Donkey is.
Who's the Wonky Donkey? Where is it?
Yeah, do you not remember Anton Deck on a Saturday morning?
Wonky Donkey, that rings a bell, Chris.
Yes, yeah. Where is he? Oh, he's there. He's behind your head. That's all right then. That is all right. I'll let you.
He's ready to. He's going to throw some rusty horseshoes at me.
Yeah, Fiorentina. That was purely to drag it out until I could get the table up. Fiorentina are 18th out of 20th.
Right.
After 7 games, and I have to say, Cremosi, where a certain ex-striker is, are sat in 10th.
Very good. Yeah, he got a bit of stick, didn't he, Vardy?
Did he? Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they're quite volatile over there, aren't they?
Well, just a tad. But he said, as talking about strikers, Ayew can play in different positions. I would say, no, he can't. I would say he can fill in, if you like, in certain. He can't play as a winger. Not anymore. Yes, and he keeps saying this. Yes, he's got all this experience, as a Premier League player. He played for Fulham. He wouldn't have played for Fulham all these times if he hadn't been a good player. Look, mate, it's only Fulham. You know what I mean? We've not got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, joining the club here. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry that where was an excuse.
They were during that period when he played, where they had. They were a good side though, Chris.
Yeah, but they weren't. They didn't win the Premier League. They didn't win the FA Cup.
They were a good, solid mid-table side.
Yeah, exactly.
But all the top clubs knew that they used to beat some of the top clubs. If you didn't take your A game to Fulham, they were a good side. They were. I'd say Bruno Fernandes. You could argue he's doing better, but no, I don't get that anymore. But. He was pushed on when they said when we've only scored 1 goal in 29 appearances between all the strikers. Owen Palmer did ask him, "Do you concentrate on chance creation?"
Yes.
How do you go around trying to rectify only 1 goal from his strikers in 29 appearances? And he says, "Well, training, tactics are important, but then helping." He did say helping a striker who hasn't scored for a while is important. You're thinking, shit, Sherlock.
Yeah, I know, exactly. State the bloody obvious. Angel, I don't know. This happened yesterday, but it didn't happen at lunchtime when we were on with Kate, which is very, very weird. I was talking to YouTube about it yesterday, but they were taking that long that I gave up and went to bed. But yeah. Are
you going to do that thing, Chris, with Angie? Go. Is it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Do the opposite?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Yeah. So looking ahead, the natives are getting restless.
Don't look ahead, Chris. Don't look ahead.
Well, I can't look behind me because that's last season, But the fans are starting to get a bit restless. Michael said there, it's. Hi, Kevin. How you doing, mate? It's too soon to be told. I mean, Michael said he won't be here in the summer. He will. He will. Look, and I was very critical of. If you'll remember from the watch along and the post match reaction part, I was extremely critical of Marty.
You let rip a bit, didn't you, Chris?
I did. You did. I did. I gave the team performance a 2, and on Monday night I gave the manager's performance as a 2. That whole loss was down to Marty and the players that he picked. Now he's saying, well, the players aren't listening to me. Well, why the bloody hell are you still playing them then? When I was a manager, if I said to this is the thing, this is what we're going to do now, if they're not doing it, they're hauled over the coals.
Yeah, and you can see him screaming from the sidelines sometimes and like order him into lines and positions, can't you? You can see him. So obviously they're struggling to carry out what he's asking them to do in training. Like you said, well, why are they? That's the logic. That's the next question. So if that's happening, so why is it happening? And what are you going to do about it?
Yes, yeah.
Is it too complicated a system for them to carry out?
Well, it shouldn't be, should it? Because it's not like it's a brand new system that we've never played before. And I apologise. I don't know if it's to Andy or Angle or Kevin. I should have gone to Specsavers. I went to the same. I went to the opticians that the referees use. Something's got. I mean, I was critical, but I think changing him would be absolutely mad. I mean, we've still got the managers that were linked to us. One of them's gone to Nottingham Forest. One of them's gone to Glasgow Rangers. I still think we've got, and I have to agree with Kate on this one, I still think we've got the best fit for us and the club.
Yeah, we have. I think the fans have been a bit disappointed because he's kind of saying one thing and doing another, which does remind all his fans of Rude, didn't it?
Yeah.
That really bit hard with the fans. And yeah, he is the right man for the job. But I just think the raw materials he's working with are really low grade. I mean, we're talking, so you got a manager who's trying to manage a team where strikers, 29 games between them and 1 goal. I mean, he must think, driving home after a match, thinking, what do you do about that? What's the solution? Because if they're not, we're creating plenty of chances. Still in games, though, we are creating plenty of chances.
Yeah.
But we left it too late. We could have won that game or at least draw, but the arse should have been switched round. We should have been 2-0 up.
So interesting. Michael says, sorry, just a sidetrack here. The names have been changed on other channels. It's not just my channel. It's obviously therefore a YouTube thing. Guys, what I would ask is the names that are coming up. Is that your YouTube channel name? Now, I don't mean that because you can have a YouTube channel called The Best Footballers in the World, but you'll have it registered as at something. So I call mine LTID, DV, but it's called at Leicester Till I Die TV. So if that is how your YouTube channels are registered, that could be why it's happening. That's what she kind of said to me before I left. But it's interesting to know, thank you, Michael, for saying that it is happening on other channels as well. So I thought it was a problem with mine. I'm going to go on this because I want to talk about the defence. Give me your thoughts on...
Yeah, it is, Chris. I've just put mine. I've just put something on there. Look, I'm at.
Oh, yes. Yeah. That's your norm. That's your, that's what it is then. Tell me about Wout Faes, because everybody knows my thoughts on Wout Faes. The wig on legs, and just before the transfer window was closed, Marty was coming down tough on these players. Winks, you're not starting. Faze, you're not starting. Once the transfer window had gone through, he turned around and said, well, all right, you're stuck with us now. And I've liked what you've shown when you've come on. I'm going to start you. Winks has taken the bull by the horns and said, I'll show you, boss. In fact, I would even consider, and if we don't go up, and I would take ninth, definitely Nate, especially when we get the points deduction. I'd even consider giving Winks another season. But Wout Faze seems to have gone back to his old ways. But he's being picked now. We're talking Ben Nelson. Problem for me with Ben Nelson, like with Kate, is that he's too much like Vestergaard. And at the moment, Vestergaard is probably our best defender. But for the Faze, do you, Matt, and this is a sort of a straightforward question here, Wade, so I don't want a political answer. Would you start with Wout Faze, or would you bring a Coley back? And remember, when a Coley was dropped for making mistakes.
I would bring a Coley back because I would want to build for next year. And I think Faz, you're not building for next year. It's like Nelson. I would start Nelson. Nelson should be starting. Gary Rowett said when he was on loan, he said if he's not playing, we'd love him here full time. But if he's not playing for Leicester, he'll be playing in the Premier League.
Yes,
he said he's a future England star. Ben Nelson. That's what Gary Rowett said about him. So it can't be that shit. And what? So somebody who gets Player of the Season last season for Oxford can't get a sniff in our team. And I get what you're saying. He is the same as in like he's a football mind. He reminds me of John Stones, typical John Stones player. Tall, good with the ball, great footballing brain. So he is the same in the same mould as Vestergaard, but he's a lot younger. He's a lot quicker. So we could play the high line with Ben Nelson and Nicola. We can't play the high line with Vestergaard.
No. I'm just looking here, and if I'm checking on expiration, these are the players whose contracts expire next summer. Winks, Sumari, Piera, Daka, just the four. I thought I was going to have a longer list then.
So, there were a lot more, Chris, but we sold them, didn't we? In the
that's right. Yeah. So Yannick Vestergaard he's not going in the summer. He's got another year, and so has Wout Faze.
Yeah, but I do think Wout Faze will.
And the bad news is Oliver Skipp doesn't go until 2029. But anyway, that's by the by. But so in a way, they're both going to could be here next season. But I just think Faze, he's in his mind. He's Lionel Messi. In his mind, he is Terry Butcher or whoever, and he isn't. But a Coley, to me, if he was dropped for mistakes, why isn't Faze being dropped? Because he's not the player that he was for those 20 minutes a game before the transfer window.
No, it's not. And the thing is, we are definitely found out. A lot of teams are transition savvy and they've got the players. I mean, some of the goals scored against us, they're not just we've got two real Faz leaves, vacates the place. Sumari doesn't cover back. Monga, if he's on the pitch, isn't defensive enough, like Mahrez wasn't. So Luke Thomas then gets sucked inside, and that's why a lot of our goals come down the left-hand side. And people blame Luke Thomas, but I think it goes into the centre to cover for people not covering. So I think the defence is really dysfunctional. It's not working properly because teams can go straight down the middle. And that's why I think Coley and Nelson are the future, because I don't think Faz will be here next season. He will not, I can't see him wanting to play.
No, I see that point, but what I'm saying is we need somebody to come in and buy him. Although the Sictus are apparently looking at him again. But so I'm sorry, I'm trying to multitask here. So are you starting with Faze or are you starting with a Coley?
I'd say I want a Coley Nelson start, full stop.
No, I mean, Nelson, he was given one game, wasn't he?
It's not enough, Chris.
No, it's not. No, he had one bad game in the Coca-Cola Cup. What does that mean? Just...
Plus, if you have, say if you had a real shit day, you got like 4 really good leads, and you say, I can close all of these. You went back, you didn't close any. What they're going to do, say, well, you can go and sweep the floors over there. No, they say, come on, let's get back out and let's go. That's what a proper manager does, encouraging them. And what does that say to Ben Nelson? We daren't let you near the first team because you might cock up.
No, I could say I totally, I agree with you on that. And what about the left back position? That's a bit worrying because Thomas didn't do very well last game either, really, did he?
No, I think our defence leaves Luke Thomas too exposed, and Samari sometimes it's difficult. So, like if a striker always gets caught offside, you can go, oh, that striker is stupid. He's always getting caught offside. But unless Drinkwater releases it when he's running and times it right, which obviously Mahrez and Drinkwater did.
Oh, so
sometimes it's like a defender, like a forward can get blamed for being offside all the time, but it's because the midfielders are not releasing the ball when he's making the run. Same in defence. In defender, you can get like Luke Thomas looks like he's completely vacating the left back spot.
Yeah.
But it's because he's coming inside to cover because people like Samari and other people are not, Vestergaard is not quick enough. Vestergaard is not good enough to play. Passing the ball, Vestergaard is brilliant. As a pure defender, his defensive qualities, he is not even championship level.
He says here, I wondered how long it would be before you scapegoated poor Luke Thomas. Did I scapegoat? I mean, Michael, I'm not being awful here. I don't think I said he didn't have a good game. I said Samari he was fucking awful. He was probably the worst player on the pitch. I'm allowed to say a player didn't have a good game without me actually being accused of scapegoating him. At the end of the day, we have to look, though, at how good a quality he is. And he isn't. He's decent quality because we've only got him and Christensen. But we've got a Luca who could play that role, He's there by default because, let's be honest with you, if James Justin was still here, he would probably be on the left back, or he'd probably be on the right back as well, wouldn't he? But he'd probably be playing left back, and Thomas wouldn't get a look in. So, not saying he's rubbish, I'm just saying he's having some bad games at the moment. Oh, am I scapegoating him, Wayne? You tell me.
No, not Michael said. I think Wayne said it, not you. No, I said that some people say Thomas vacates the left spot, and a lot of the goals do come from that area. You can't deny that. The same as we are susceptible to the long ball through the middle. But sometimes if Thomas vacates that spot, it's because he sees there's a weakness from somebody coming through the middle because Samari hasn't covered. And that's what guys. So when you go to the match, when you see the TV, you can only see a small box of what's happening. But when you go to a match, you can see who is covering and who isn't, sort of thing. So yeah, we let goals down the left-hand side. We are weak on the left-hand side for whatever reason.
Wayne, stop scapegoating Thomas, will you? I'm sorry. Again, I'm going to defend Wayne. I don't think he was scapegoating Thomas at all. I think he was just pointing out. I think there's more players that we've scapegoated than Thomas. But I've got to say, at times he's not up to it. And please don't throw at me. Well, he kept Salah in his pocket. Yeah, that was a while ago. Do you know what I mean? We have to move on. Look. Let's end on this because when that team is announced tomorrow at about 1:45, to when they're done these days, he is going to live or die by that for me.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, when he was asked about Millwall away, he says that Millwall are one team who demand energy and the right attitude.
Yeah.
If they win, they go 6 points clear of us. 6 points. We're getting to this stage of the season where there will be significant gaps will start to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said we need to match belief, hunger, energy, and improve things and score more goals. So this is it. It's D-Day, Chris, isn't it? D-Day.
It is, and look, we have to stay there with them because we have got this points deduction hanging over us. We cannot ignore it.
I would play 3 at the back, Chris. I would definitely play 3 at the back.
When I do the show with Kate and it's the pick and mix, the reason that we stick with the 4-2-3-1 is because we know Marty's going to be sticking with the 4-2-1. And I think a lot of us would go 3-5-2, which obviously can then become a 5-3-2 if you defend it. You've got old codgers like me that say, let's go back to 4-4-2. Anything that gives us 2 up front, basically. But we know that's not going to happen, and that is the problem with that conversation. I'd love it, I tell you, love it. If he did go 3-5-2, which he has used at parts, he did that against Hull, but it was too little, too late. How many games do you win when you're 2 goals down? Not many.
And the crazy thing, the reason why Tom was really frustrated after the match is he says we could have won that. We could have won that game. Even Jim said that, didn't he? He says with the penalty and we could have won the game.
Yes. But I mean, it's all ifs, buts, and maybes. But once you're behind, then it's difficult to get back. But it's also difficult when you're 2-0 down. Not many teams come back from that to win. Yes, it happens, but it's going to be very, very interesting.
Especially not with 3 forwards that only scored 1 goal, Chris.
That I will grant you. I'll give you that point. But it's virtually impossible to come back from 2-0 down. 1-0 is bad enough. But look, at the end of the day, whilst, like I say, I criticise Marty. Yes, I do. But we can't be turning into Nottingham Forest and sacking managers all the time, can we?
No, and the bottom line is we had a net transfer window of plus 70, didn't we? We didn't spend any money, and we got a lot of money back. So that's the environment that Marty's operating on. And he started a month later than Enzo, and in effect, he's had no money to spend. I do hope that we can get some. How we've got JJ and Ramsey on loan. I hope we can get some more loan players in January.
Yeah, I don't know what the limit is on loan players in the Championship, to be honest with you. But yeah, we can't, because of that points deduction, we can't let that gap get too much bigger. It will just be like Leicester to go and beat Millwall now, wouldn't it?
Well, we need it, Chris. We need it. I mean, this is a 6-pointer, isn't it?
Oh, there we go, a 6-pointer. Yes, indeed. And, it's nice the fact that the Leicester fans are getting behind the team and showing the support and, predicting that we're going to win. That's lovely, isn't it, Wayne?
It is. It's 5 loan players we could have, Chris.
Oh, is it 5? Right. So we've got 4 at the moment, haven't we? So we've only got 1 more. But don't you think it's nicer the way the fans are getting behind the team, showing the support by predicting that we're going to win?
Are they?
Well, some of them are. Some of them aren't.
It's a real. We're talking with Tom and Jim about this, and it's a real. It pains you to put. I predicted Millwall to beat us 2-1.
I know you have. That's what I was getting at.
I felt bad, but then other people in the prediction league have forecast predicted we're going to lose 3-1.
Well, 3-1, 2-1. I mean, come on, that's not the defence. Well, we haven't got a defence, but I mean, this is what you're saying to the club, really.
Fuck you.
You are. I mean, I have to say, though, when you look back at last season, I'm sat there after 16 games going, I've got to predict my team. We've lost 16 games on the trot. we can't possibly lose 17 games on the trot. Oh, yes, we can.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I've gone for a draw because I'm at least showing some faith in my team. Unlike
I admire your loyalty, Chris.
Yes, I may be at the bottom of the prediction league, but at least I'm supporting my club. Wayne, you know I joke with you. Thank you very, very much for coming on. I will see you tomorrow post-match.
Yes, mate.
When it'll be you and me, we'll be joined by Tom and Brad tomorrow because Jim's off seeing his family, and I hope he has a really good time. It's good to see family. Wayne, thank you very much for coming on.
Mate, up the Foxes.
Well, fingers crossed. You know, look, that's me and Marty. Yeah, like, subscribe, share, everybody. Thank you very much. And if you're listening via your favourite podcast platform, thank you very much for that as well. Have a good rest of the evening. Enjoy yourself. Thank you very much, Wayne. We're back at 8:30 with the preview. Brad, we'll see you then. Take care.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.